civil and built environment in South Africa at the moment is effectively mirroring what is happening in our economy overall. The economists that have just spoken now at the conference indicated that we had 2 periods of decline in economic growth in the last 2 quarters, which means we're in a technical recession. But in our industry, because the correlation between cement demand or even construction activity very closely mirrors economic growth, we're seeing that playing out in our industry as well. So there is massive decline in cement volumes. In 2007, cement demand peaked at over 14 million tons, and we had another million tons of imports. We're now to below levels of 13 million and declining, and construction activity overall is also declining. The cement industry has attracted new entrants. For the period between 2002 and 2006, cement demand almost doubled in the country. Margins were good, everybody was making good money, so obviously our country attracted new investors in the form of Sepaku, part of the Dangote Group, and Mamba, part of the Jadong Group in China. But unfortunately, with the decline in demand and this increased capacity, we now have an oversupply situation in the country of between 30 and 40% oversupply of cement. But what we've also seen is that even in the ready-mix concrete industry, it's become very fragmented. We now have over 400 ready-mix companies in South Africa, from a period where we had maybe 3 or 4 big players. We now have over 400 ready-mix companies. And the challenge with the ready-mix industry particularly is the barriers to entry are quite low. There aren't enough legislative issues to deal with. For example, issues around environmental impact studies, making sure you control where people dump old concrete or returned concrete, what they do with mixing water, and all of these things. And it's something that I think SAMA is trying to get a handle on, and to grow its membership and to get the industry to self-regulate, because these low barriers to entry mean that all we have is we're seeing a mushrooming of ready-mix companies, and not all of them are adhering to good practices, and it's causing a challenge for our industry, and of course it's impacting on the profitability overall. So whilst we bemoan the fact that we have many new entrants both in the cement and in the ready-mix industry, and we've got lots of competitors, I think the upside, and the competition authorities would like to hear this, is that it is making the industry a lot more competitive. It has an impact of reducing building costs and construction inflation. We haven't particularly quantified to what extent, but just to give you an example, cement prices are now at levels last seen in 2009. So we haven't seen real price increases in cement, and concrete prices pretty much follow the same trend as cement. So I suppose you could argue on the upside, new entrants, the oversupply situation, although it's impacting on the profitability of the companies in the industry, it is good for the end user because they are getting better value for money as a result of this increased competitive activity.